I was going to pull up some of those traffic cameras just to see if we could get some of it. But again, anyone within this area, it is in Mobile Bay right now. Bayway, Causeway, those areas is going to be affected by this. Zooming out further, going to go ahead and look at the tornado watch, still in effect till 1 p.m. So most areas still going to be seeing this threat continuing throughout mid-morning. Tornado warnings extending northern Mobile County, Baldwin County, Clark County, but also Mobile into Baldwin counties for that second tornado warning too, with that rotation just over the bay. Looking right now at our velocity, this one picking up just a little bit better again. We lost it slightly, but since it was a confirmed tornado earlier, they picked it up again. So this is just going to be near Chastang, passing over 43. You can start to see some of that area of rotation just broadening again, getting back up towards that brightness within it. So we're seeing that velocity, that differing wind speeds picking up just south of Mount Vernon. All of these areas still within this tornado warning. Thank you, Jason, for brightening that up just a little bit. So this is that area of rotation that we're picking up on. We lost it slightly near Saraland, but looking a lot better right now. Now, as we're continuing just to keep an eye on those tornado warnings, again, if you're just now joining us, good morning. It's 5:52 a.m. This is Fox 10 News. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Lambers, and now beside me is Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith. Jason?
Jennifer, you know, it's been an extraordinary morning with this line of storms coming through the area. This is something we were tracking last night about the possibility of tornadoes in our area this morning. And anytime you have a landfalling tropical system, you can see areas of rotation. Let's back out and go to our composite reflectivity, and we'll take a look at the two warned areas that we have out there right now this morning. Two tornado warnings for Mobile County. They extend over into Baldwin County. We have had some radar confirmed tornadoes in our area this morning. You can see the two red boxes right there. These are our polygons, and this is showing us where the possible tornadoes are. So when a tornado warning is issued, what happens is nowadays they're issued for a specific area instead of just generally for a county. So we can show you exactly where the tornado or the area of rotation may be. And a lot of you saw your smartphones or heard your smartphones going off this morning around 5 a.m. with the initialization of these two warnings here, or the warning that was in effect earlier for Mobile County. Now we're getting a warning right now for a possible tornado coming across the I-10 Bayway area and the Causeway. This is going to move up across the Delta. We've got a live shot of the Bayway right now. One of the issues we've got right now is that it's still dark outside, and so it's a little hard to see, but you can see how bad the wind is right now. Certainly, if we're not seeing what's going on as far as the tornado there, it definitely is a very, very breezy situation right now on the I-10 Bayway, and traffic right now, you know, is light, but it being a Saturday morning, we're getting heavy rainfall right now. A lot of ponding on the road. You can see the cars that are happening to be out there right now have their flashers on, and that is a really good idea. So let's go down to street level with some of these warnings here. I want to talk about some of the areas specifically where we may be seeing the rotation and where that is all headed. This is our area here. So the possible tornado over the Bayway area is now out over the Tensas Delta, and it looks like it's tracking up Spanish River here and Chocolate Bay. So it's going to be over an area that is really sparsely populated. But as it continues on off towards the northeast, it'll get up around some of the camps on Gravine Island, and then it'll be closer to Cloverleaf and then up towards Hurricane Landing. So we've got to watch for this cell here. And what we're looking at, if you're looking at it, say, well, that just looks like a bunch of red and green. What is that? Well, where we have the red and green right next to each other, that is inbound, outbound velocity, and that is the possibility of rotation or a tornado. And this is something that we've been watching with these bands that have been coming in off of the far outer edges of Delta. This piece of energy coming across our area. It showed up well in modeling last night. The other area that we're watching is right here on Highway 43 near Chastang. Let's go in tight here, Jennifer, and you can see there's Coy Smith Highway to the north here. And as we take a look at some of the streets here, if you see your street popping up here, we've got Cedar Creek Landing. That's one of the river landings that's up on Highway 43. That's Cedar Creek Landing Road there on 43. We expect this area of rotation to continue to lift up across Cedar Creek, and it'll be very close to Mount Vernon. We'll zoom out just a little bit, and I'll show you where we are as far as what's ahead of this and some of the areas that are ahead of it. There's Mount Vernon right there. So rotation areas near Chastang and Cedar Creek, and as these things are moving very quickly this morning. So if you're in an area where you've got a tornado warning and your phone has gone off for an alert, it won't be long and that rotation area is going to be right on top of you. There's the Mount Vernon area, and now that rotation area that was over Cedar Creek just a minute or two ago is now into downtown Mount Vernon. So there you go right there. There's Military Road, and here's Old Highway 43 here, and then getting on up towards the heart of town here. There's St. Stephen's Road. So possible tornado now in the Mount Vernon area. This line of storms right now is on the edge of Mobile County getting into Baldwin County. So we expect it to continue to advance towards the east. If you're out in West Mobile, we had a possible tornado on the ground earlier. That warning has been discontinued for West Mobile. At this point, things are starting to improve from this line back to the west, but it's ahead of the line where we have concern this morning, especially over into Mobile County and along the eastern side of Mobile Bay. We've got Fairhope, Daphne, Spanish Fort, up to, looks like Cloverleaf, Hurricane, and then up towards Stockton and Tensas. This area here is about to experience this line, and really, tornadoes can pop up along this line at any time. So we've got a landfalling tropical system working up through Louisiana and into Mississippi. It's kicked out one of these feeder bands far to the east, and we have a high pressure ridge to the east as well. And so the two are working together to give us the low level flow with spin in the height in the atmosphere, all the ingredients for possible tornadoes. That's why we have a tornado watch in effect. And look at the red right in through here. Right in that area, that is where we have the potential for tornadoes to spawn up really at any time along that line. So if you're from Fort Morgan to Fairhope to Stockton, all the way up towards Grove Hill, you got to be on guard for the possibility of tornadoes. And Jennifer, it looks like we're getting some updates to these warnings right here. We've got multiple warning polygons going on right now in Mobile County. And taking a look to the south, we've got another one there. So we've included Tensas and Highway 59 and getting up close to the Blackshear community in the warning for this cell here that is over around Mount Vernon. And we may have one cell going up 43 and another one that's a little out ahead of it that looks like it's tracking across the upper delta and will be moving over into Baldwin County. So we have a warning there for the Mount Vernon area, and then another one a little further on off to the east here for the Tensas area as well. So we'll definitely have to watch that. Now, what we're doing right now, we show you the reflectivity, so that shows us where it's raining, but right now we're also looking inside the storm with our velocity product, and we can tell which direction the raindrops are going, whether they're going towards the radar or away from the radar. And that's the advantage we have now with Doppler radar, so we can actually tell if we've got the possibility of rotation. Whenever you see objects going towards and away from the radar all in the same area, that indicates the possibility of what we call a couplet or a tornado. So Mount Vernon right now, a very high probability of a potential tornado there. We can also look inside this and see if we're getting any debris. We have had some debris signatures this morning, specifically over the Mobile area earlier, with a possibility of debris from a tornado there. We can definitely see something going on right there. Jennifer, I'm going to let you shed some light on this right here. What are you seeing with the radar as this is approaching Mount Vernon?
Yeah, so not quite picking up on that debris signature. We saw it in Irvington earlier. It was a very tight little ball. Now this is a broad area within it, so normally we look for the little areas within it. Also, what I was saying earlier is that it's easy for this debris to get lofted up. We just had Hurricane Sally, a lot of folks putting it by the side of the road, so it makes it a lot easier. And so that's why if you're within these tornado warned areas, get away from the windows. That's a great thing to keep in mind with some of these, because that debris could easily loft throughout them. It's easy for them to fly within it. And checking on that tornado warning map, they did take off one of those. So Tensas without of it right now, but Mount Vernon heading north just towards McIntosh, still within this tornado warning so far for this morning.
Yeah, well, looking at it here, this makes more sense as far as what we're seeing on radar and the direction of the warning. So the old warning heading over to Baldwin County was dropped, and this is picking up more on the path of the possible tornado coming up Highway 43. Right now, the rotation area is in Mount Vernon. It's headed up along the edge of the Tensas Delta, and so Baldwin County has been excluded for the warning for this possible cell here. here temporarily. But remember, the line is edging on off to the east, so could be included once again as that line gets closer. But it looks like this one's going to go up across 43, and then once it gets out here over the delta, it's going to be in a very, very sparsely populated area. This is where the Tombigbee and the Alabama rivers come together here, and once it gets on off on the east side of Mount Vernon, it already looks like that's starting to happen here. It's going to start getting out over the upper delta, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Further to the south, we've also got another tornado warning that is currently out over what is currently right now a very sparsely populated area, but it's about to move onto Highway 225 here, and this is right near Gravine Island. Here's Cloverleaf here. I'm going to switch sides of the screen because where we have the concern is once this thing gets across over towards Highway 225. Right now it is over the lower delta and the middle Tensaw Delta right now, and we do have some broad rotation going on right here. This is Gravine Island, so just to kind of give you an idea of where we are with this right here, there's Saraland and Satsuma here. This is on the west side of the Tensaw Delta. Then this rotation area is actually in the Tensaw Delta. And then this is Highway 225, which is going to be on the edge or on the east side, on the Baldwin County side of the Tensaw Delta. And you've got Cloverleaf Landing right there. It looks like this rotation area is to the north and west of Cloverleaf. It's tracking on off to the northeast, and so it's headed up towards Hurricane Landing. And you just saw Hurricane popping up right there. This is Hurricane, and then up above that we have Cliffs Landing. So I would say that based on the track of this rotation area, anything around Hurricane Landing or Cliffs Landing Road, 225 near the I-65 and 225 area, the possibility, this is going to be near the Crossroads community, the possibility of a tornado headed your way. Also ahead of this, in addition to the possibility of seeing a tornado around Crossroads, if it holds together by about 6:15, 6:20, we could see this thing all the way up into Stockton proper here as it comes up 59. So 225 comes up and then merges with 59 as 59 is coming out of Bay Minette. And so we're getting over into Baldwin County with this area here. Now, right now the rotation is over the delta, but it won't be long before it starts to catch back up with some of the land areas. So looking at it here, as far as the warnings we have in area, we've got a new warning too out to the east, Jennifer, now over into Okaloosa County. So we want to shed some light on this one as well. This is a new warning that just popped up, and we're seeing this here north of Interstate 10. This is going to be around the Laurel Hill community up near the Yellow River here as it's heading on off towards the north, and it will be in our area for about the next 15 to 20 minutes, and then it's going to track on up to the north towards Andalusia and get on up into Covington County. Crestview area right now, possible rotation area to the north and west of town. It's going to be up near Laurel Hill. This is for a cell that is out ahead of the main line, and we can clearly see the rotation starting to fire here. There is the Peden community there, as well as the Blackman community, and it's working up across some of the areas just to the north and west of Crestview as it's tracking on off towards the north. So we are looking at another rotation area, and this may happen through the morning. We're under a tornado watch for the entire area. That means conditions are favorable for tornadoes. We've got a main line coming through Mobile and Baldwin counties right now, but out ahead of that main line, we're starting to see some supercells beginning to fire up ahead of the main line, and the rotation being provided for the outer bands of a landfalling delta, which came ashore last night as Category 2 storm around Creole, Louisiana. That was around 6 p.m. That circulation is lifting up into Mississippi this morning, but out ahead of it, we've got this band of convective activity that is associated with a landfalling hurricane, and there's always spin with height in the atmosphere when you have a landfalling tropical system, so not a total surprise at all. Unfortunately, we were looking at this on our futurecast, really even starting back about 24 hours ago, that hey, we have the possibility of rough weather in our area for Saturday morning, and here it is here in the Crestview area, a possible tornado on the ground or potentially indicated generated by Doppler radar to the north and west of Crestview, traveling to the northeast in Okaloosa County. 3 tornado warnings out there right now, 1 in the Florida Panhandle. The other 2 are either in Mobile County or in Baldwin County. And taking a look at that Baldwin County tornado warning here, again, a warning still in effect. They've trimmed off the south part of the box, so they've excluded the I-10 Bayway area, and now it's just for specifically the Gravine area and the Hurricane Landing area. And we've got some of the county roads that lead off of 225 here in the direction of Bay Minette, also included in this warning. Most concerned about areas right immediately along the Tensaw River here. So you've got the Tensaw, you can see the blue right in through there, getting down here below McReynolds Lake here and extending all the way down towards the interstate. And there is some broad rotation here. It's not as tight as what Jennifer was tracking earlier when we had this area over West Mobile, but definitely one to watch out for, as we are currently under a tornado warning right now for Baldwin County. There is the Hurricane Landing area. This one's still out over the Delta, but it won't be long before it'll be up along and close to the river landings there. In fact, already too close for comfort for Hurricane Landing, and it looks like it's really drawing a bead more on Cliffs Landing. You know, normally Saturday morning at Cliffs Landing this time of the year, pretty crowded with boats and people getting ready to go out on the Delta for the day. The same thing for Live Oak Landing, which is a little further to the north, and I would hope that most everyone is not in those locations right now early on the Saturday morning and is in shelter. So we've got a rotation area that's headed up towards Cliffs Landing. There are some camps there along Cliffs Landing as well as Hurricane, and up towards Live Oak Landing as well, possible rotation area out over the Tensaw Delta. And also watching to the north, we had a tornado warning up earlier for the Mount Vernon area. That rotation area is now north, so it's getting up towards the steel plant here. There's McIntosh right there. This is getting close to Calvert, but we are seeing this a little bit further on up. This is Bates Lake, so this is going to be near Malcolm, and this is headed up towards the Tombigbee River area where the Tombigbee meets and merges with the Alabama. You're up near Mobile River here, and this is Bates Lake Road, and so Bates Lake Road comes out of Malcolm and makes its way into the Mobile River area and over towards the Tensaw Delta, and there are a number of camps here at the end of Bates Lake Road. So, and these are camps that are typically vulnerable to any kind of a severe weather activity. Most of them are trailers or not really substantial structures, and so you've got a possible rotation area headed towards Bates Lake Road right now. It's actually right on top of Bates Lake Road and Bates Landing there on Bates Creek and up towards Bilbo Creek. So this is going to be on the east side of Highway 43 now with this rotation area east side of McIntosh. If you're in McIntosh, it looks like the rotation area, and if you're in Mount Vernon, is now going to be just a little east of your area. And this is going to head up across, once it gets past Bates Lake, it's going to move again across a very sparsely populated area and may end up very close to Carlton. Carlton's in southern Clark County. Now, if you're joining us and you're in Mobile and you're saying, hey, sirens have been going off, my phone's been going crazy, I didn't expect to get up this early this morning on a Saturday, I do want to point out that the main line has now moved to the east of places like West Mobile, Midtown Mobile, and Downtown Mobile. So we're in a little better shape now in Mobile proper right now, as well as Saraland and Creola and Chickasaw and areas there. So what we're more concerned about now is with this line here, and it is fairly linear, meaning it has a north-south orientation. Most concerned right now about Baldwin County now as this is getting closer. So from Fort Morgan to Point Clear and Fairhope to Daphne, and then up along 225, and then getting up to Stockton and Tensaw. These are the areas we've got to watch out for now as this line is beginning to come across from west to east. And this will continue to gradually drag through the area this morning. Jennifer Jennifer, if you've got the modeling on this with the HRRR, I'd like to see what we're looking at as far as a timeline over into Baldwin County and also into the Florida Panhandle. If you don't have it ready to go, that's fine.
We'll
get right back to it.
Also, I just want to update that they did cancel that one tornado warning in northern Mobile County too.
All right, yeah, I'll let you take over right now as we've got team coverage here on FOX10 News. That's the advantage of team coverage. You know, we get a warning and we got lots of different things going on. Right now, we've got 3 tornado warnings, or now 2 tornado warnings in the area. So shed some light on that for us.
Yeah, so that one was canceled. That rotation, it just weakened and it brought in, so it gets that wide picture with it, and it just means that it's looking better. So we did go ahead and cancel that one for Mount Vernon, but also I do want to go ahead and show the future cast with what we are seeing. So we're going to go ahead and start off this morning so we can see that line of storms extending from our north down towards our south. And really, Baldwin County, get ready, because this line of storms getting ready to move through. So Gulf Shores, Fairhope, Foley, Bay Minette, everywhere within there moving through. So by 7 at 8 a.m., it starts to show it moving out of Baldwin County. So for about the next 2 hours, looking at this threat, it is fast moving, but also it's going to be moving up. So it has that counterclockwise rotation within it, moving further towards Escambia County and moving through Pensacola, Milton, Atmore, Evergreen, and moving further into Santa Rosa and Okaloosa counties by the time we get to 10 a.m. Now, the future casts have been a little bit in disagreement of this timing. Again, this is going to be the HRRR. It's one of my favorite future cast models, and it's showing it just a little bit faster. Another one we use, it's called the RPM, and it has it slowing down just slightly. It doesn't have it moving through by the time we get to 11 a.m., moving through Okaloosa County, moving through Crestview and Destin. Some of it has it moving through closer to about 1 and 2 p.m. But luckily, the further east it does get, the more stable air it's going to be getting into. So that threat will be weakening as it moves further. But Baldwin County, along with Escambia County, still seeing this risk for today. And so that's why we currently have those 2 active tornado warnings, one for Baldwin County, the other one extending from Okaloosa County and further just north of Crestview. So 2 tornado warnings and also that tornado watch in effect until 1 p.m. for today. So everyone on high alert as this line begins to move on through. And again, it's extending down from Thomasville near Dauphin Island and tracking east within it. So we're still keeping an eye on it for today. So Baldwin County, really get ready. Have a way to get those alerts. Have that FOX10 News app downloaded. We are also streaming on Facebook Live right now. I've been seeing some folks say that they lost power. It's very windy out there. We are under a high wind advisory. So just in case you do lose power, we are streaming on Facebook Live too, and I do monitor those comments in case you do have any questions for us. That's a great point, Jennifer. A lot of folks are getting to the point now where most everybody has a smartphone or has access to a smartphone, and the advantage of smartphone technology is that if you've got your location services turned on, your phone will alert you for severe weather. It's really becoming one of the primary ways that people are notified of severe weather in this day and time. It's a big advancement in what is the capability of getting severe weather to you. The sirens are really a dated system, and can, you know, right now, for example, in Baldwin County, we've got a warning, and even in Mobile County, we may have sirens going off for a tornado that's not particularly in your area. But if your phone's going off, it's because you're in the area that's included in that polygon. All right, so this is a more favorable looking situation. I know it's kind of hard to say that when you have a tornado warning in effect, but it doesn't look like the rotation here up around the hurricane and the Cliffs Landing area is as significant as it was earlier. So we're starting to see a better looking sign with this one here, and that warning that's currently in effect may be discontinued at its expiration time, if not sooner. We're watching here around 65 and Highway 225 for an area of rotation coming across the Tensaw Delta up near Cliffs Landing. That's going to be tracking up towards Live Oak Landing and Stockton in Baldwin County. And you can see the track on this towards Stockton, but the warning is not continued beyond where it is right now, which is up to 225 and I-65. So it does not include the Stockton area. I wouldn't just rest easy in Stockton right now because, you know, you've got this real intense line coming through. It has been tornadic this morning, and the potential is for that to spin back up into a possible tornado at any time. We've certainly seen that a lot of times in the past when you've got a line that's coming
coming right for you, and it's had a history of rotation. You can always see something spinning up again. All right, this is the Okaloosa County situation. We've still got a tornado warning for Okaloosa County, and checking it out here, this is the Blackman community. This is Highway 2, so we're getting over towards the Yellow River, which is to the north and west of Crestview here, and there is Good Hope, and that is in Florida. We're going to see this tracking up towards Alabama here very shortly here, and it will pass out of our area. But this rotation area right here, Jennifer, is more indicative of a possible tornado in comparison to the rotation area that we have right now along 225 and around Hurricane and Crossroads. This one is definitely more of a concern here, especially considering its distance from the radar and how well it's being picked up. And this is the dual pole product from Mobile, maybe a little bit more pronounced even on the radar out of Eglin Air Force Base, which may be a little closer to this particular rotation area. But anyhow, looking at it, there's Highway 222, Highway 2. This is the Peden community, and you can see some of the streets here. We've got Escambia Farms and Good Hope, and this is on the east side of Escambia Farms and Good Hope for a possible tornado that's moving up across Kelly Road and Baggett Road and tracking on off towards the northeast. So north and west of Crestview and northern Okaloosa County, we've got a warning up here for a possible tornado that is occurring and indicated by Doppler radar in this area, and this is going to keep tracking on up towards Covington County. This is on the far eastern edge of our forecast area, and it's almost to the Florida-Alabama line. So you've got the Florida-Alabama line right here. This is still in Okaloosa County. There's Peden. If we zoom out a little more, I'll show you where this is in relation to Crestview. Crestview is down here. The rotation area is in northern Okaloosa County. In fact, and within about the next 5 minutes, it's going to actually be out of our area, Jennifer, as this moves on up into Covington County. So if you know anyone here north of Crestview, there is a possible tornado that is spun up, and we're under a tornado watch. So it'd be a good idea to be close to your phone and close to FOX10, close to a source of information this morning for the possibility of tornadoes. At this point, 6:17 this morning, we have a tornado watch in effect for our entire area.
Mississippi counties were just taken out.
Yeah, and because the line is advancing on off towards the east, we're already seeing some counties dropped out of the watch. So Greene County, George County, I know it was stormy for you earlier this morning, and Jackson County have been taken out of the watch. It may not be long before Mobile County and Washington County are also taken out of this tornado watch. And then we have one tornado warning currently in effect, and that is for northern Okaloosa County. And we're not going to let our guard down. We're going to keep tracking this, but as this cell moves out of Okaloosa County and into Covington County, we may go back to programming because we may not have any active tornado warnings at this point, but we're going to remain under a tornado watch. And so for Baldwin County, we'll be watching that. Of course, Fox 10 News on the Saturday morning is going to get rocking and rolling here soon. So we're going to be here with you, and we're not going anywhere. But if we do see this rotation area get out of the area and we're no longer under an active tornado warning, we may temporarily go back to programming. We're going to be very vigilant. We're going to keep watching the radar, and if we see anything new spinning up on that Baldwin County line, we'll let you know. Let's look at the line itself before we go back and do a little more tracking there in Okaloosa County. So right now we have a squall line, would be the best way to describe it, from Fort Morgan to Point Clear to Fairhope to Daphne to Spanish Fort, up towards the Malvis area, and then further to the north up around Crossroads and bearing down on Bay Minette, and then all the way up across into parts of Baldwin County and up into Clark County. So we've got this long squall line. This line is moving to the east, and the individual cells within it are kicking out to the northeast, so that's where the possible tornado areas would be. We are under a tornado warning. Right now, we do not see anything particularly alarming with this line. The tornado warning that was in effect for the hurricane area and Crossroads has been discontinued. Okay, we'll keep watching it. We also have had some rotation with this cell here in southern Clark County. That has also been discontinued as a tornado warning, but we could see things spin back up really at any point this morning. Then we've got a warning here in Okaloosa County, and this thing is just about out of the area. Let's go back in and check this out. Jennifer, you can see there is good hope here. So another 5 minutes or so, and I expect to see this warned area here in northern Okaloosa County transition out of the area and get up more in the direction of Andalusia. And it looks like the folks at the National Weather Service are scanning this thing pretty rapidly on the lowest level of tilt too, by the way. We're seeing a lot of refreshing of what's going on the radar. This is the Good Hope area. This is Kelly Road, and you've got Rock Hill Road, and this would be your possible tornado in far northern Okaloosa County. That's about to cross over the Alabama line, and it'll end up in Alabama to the east, well to the east of Escambia County. And you can see this. I mean, look how fast this thing is moving. And it's moving at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. These are going to be fast moving tornadoes. If you're under a warning and you think, hey, I may want to peek my head out and see the tornado, these are not the kind of tornadoes that you would want to go out and try and get a view of. Now, normally with a landfalling tropical system, we're talking about EF0s, EF1s, maybe an EF2 tornado. We're not typically talking about tornadoes that are going to be violent, long track tornadoes. They can still be significant tornadoes, but they are often rain wrapped, so you can't see them. It's dark outside anyway, so it's not a good situation to try and get a view of this one in particular here. At this point, we have it moving up to the north of Rock Hill Road and continuing to transition up into, it looks like, Covington County with that warning there. So an overview, if you're joining us this morning, we do have Delta, which is now spinning over parts of northern Louisiana and getting into Mississippi. We've got rain bands that are spinning off of that landfalling tropical system, and this is the one that we have the most concern with. This band here, there's a look at the circulation, what's left of Delta, now a weak tropical storm compared to the hurricane that it was when it slammed Louisiana. A lot of flash flood warnings up in effect for northern parts of Louisiana there. Now this is tracking up towards northern Mississippi. I do expect that some of the heaviest of the rain, which is located either over us or over northern Mississippi, will be on up into Tennessee by this evening. I know Alabama is playing Ole Miss in northern Mississippi late today and into the evening hours, and hopefully most of the rough weather will be out of that area. All right, looking at the watch, that is what is currently in effect. We have a tornado watch currently in effect for our entire area with the exception of our Mississippi counties. One warning that is active right now, this is for Okaloosa County, and the rotation area is now transitioning out of the forecast area. So at this point we do not have any active rotation areas in our area, but the potential is there this morning for tornadic activity, and we're going to continue to watch this very closely, and we'll have more reports. Hey, we've had a lot of warnings in our area. We may have some damage, so we've got some crews headed out to survey to see if there's anything going on as far as damage, and we'll have more coverage for you coming up later on this morning on Fox 10 News. Hopefully we don't see any more warnings, but there is the possibility of that, so we'll be watching that for you here on Fox 10 News. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith, along with meteorologist Jennifer Lambers with team coverage here on Fox 10 this morning.